Hello movie watchers, welcome to Moon Movie Review. I'm Travis Moon. If you're new to this channel, here's how it works. If you don't want me to ruin the movie, then I start with a short non-spoiler review followed by my thoughts on whether this is a must-see or a wait for DVD. Then I'll give you a spoiler warning before I move into a more in-depth review where I talk about my likes, my dislikes. I'll give you my 4-point rating system, which I like to call the breakdown, and let you guys take it from there. Okay, movie watchers, cue intro! Today's review is The Upside, starring Kevin Hart, Bryan Cranston, Nicole Kidman. The Upside is based on a story that's based on a true story and is a heartwarming story of loss, regret, finding your feet, so to speak, and friendship. Down but not out ex-con Dell, played by Kevin Hart, is given an opportunity to be a life auxiliary for Philip. Dell is trying to make up for his past mistakes, and Philip is barely tolerating his life as a paraplegic. But together, they help each other grow and they find friendship along the way. I had a pretty good time watching this movie in theaters. The comedy is more of a real-life situation type of comedy, which happens to be my favorite type of comedy. It's not the stupid funny type of stuff. It's not the overly expressive, enthusiastic type that we're used to from Kevin Hart. He's a lot more reserved and he's a lot more serious in this role, and so therefore the comedy is more real-life comedy. But I think the comedy is well-timed. I think it's well-placed. The serious scenes are very personal, very intimate, and they seem to do a very good job with those. I feel like this movie is a lot more authentic and a lot more genuine than I would have originally anticipated. I think the movie's pretty good. I don't think this is a movie that you have to go see in the theaters unless that's something that you're interested in. This movie would make a great movie for a date night or just a night out, but I don't think it's something you have to see in theaters. You can wait for it if you want to, but if you don't see it in theaters, then I do recommend you pick this up at Redbox. This is a good movie and it is worth watching.
Just relax! I am relaxed! This is me being relaxed!
If you like watching movies and TV, click the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so that you can stay up to date with cinema. Stay tuned to the end of this video to see what reviews or discussions that I've got coming out next. You can follow me on Facebook and Twitter at Moon Movie Review. Thanks for watching. So I want to start off by saying that I have not seen The Untouchables. I have not seen the movie that this movie is based off of. So my review is a standalone review. I am not comparing this to Untouchables in any way. I have not seen it. So the movie starts off with a director's trick where they start you off kind of in the middle of the story and then they cut back to an earlier point in the timeline to develop the story. This is a pretty good trick. It works well with movies like this that have deep stories, so it fit pretty well and it was off to a great start. Most of the scenes that we saw in the trailer show up early on in the film. So I felt this way. If you go to a movie theater and you see it, you might feel like you've seen most of this stuff. You might feel like the trailer gives too much away of the film, but don't worry, there is plenty to wait for. There is plenty of stuff going on in this film. The movie is more emotionally enjoyable than I originally thought it was going to be. I wasn't really sure what to expect from this part of the story, but the longer I watched the movie, the more these parts became my favorite parts of the story. It's interesting as I never expected Kevin Hart or Bryan Cranston to be very moving as actors. My favorite scene is when Dell and Philip are on the train and Dell is opening up to Philip about his experience in prison and being around his father, and he goes on to talk about how his son will never go to prison, his son is really smart, how his son's mom is really smart. And it's kind of this vulnerable moment where Dell's just opening up to Philip, and then there's this silence. There's this pause, and Philip goes on to say, Dell, you're smart, and you're intelligent. And the look on Dell's face is like he's never heard these words spoken about him or to him in a sincere way like this before. It's a very simple scene, but it's also a very moving scene. There are many heartwarming and intellectually and emotionally deep scenes like this in the film, and I think I enjoyed just about every single one of them. I really enjoyed the subplot with Kevin's character where he's trying to make things right with his family and be a provider. He's taking responsibility for his bad choices he made in the past, and he's trying to be better. Being a husband myself, I can relate to the desires and the struggles of being responsible for your family. Although maybe not on the same level that Kevin's character can, but I understand that it's no easy feat. There is a little bit of inconsistency with Kevin's character early on in the film, where he's kind of more of like this lazy, I'm just trying to get by kind of guy. And then on the other side, he's like, no, I want to be responsible for my family. These two characteristics are clearly opposite one another. So I probably would have written this part of his character a little bit differently. Luckily, it doesn't last long in the film, so you get over it quickly. Another complaint I have about this movie is I would have really liked to have seen more development of the love connection between Bryan and Nicole's characters. I feel like most of these scenes are pretty weak, and there's really only two scenes that are really worth anything, that really make anything make sense. The first scene is when Lily calls Bryan's character to set up their kind of first date or whatever, and you kind of get this sad face on Nicole's character. And really the only other scene is at the end of the movie where they kind of reunite, and you kind of get this love vibe, look type of thing. And really, overall, the love connection is kind of weak in story, and I would have liked to have seen a little more development of the love story between Bryan and Nicole's characters. Lastly, Kevin's character goes on to become what looks like an automated wheelchair manufacturer. Now, there's a couple of scenes in the story that I guess could lead you to believe he could do this. It's not so far-fetched, but there's only like 2 or 3 scenes. I would have liked to have seen a little more development on this part of the story. I would have liked to have seen Kevin have a passion for re-engineering Bryan's wheelchair, and that's what leads him to become an automated wheelchair manufacturer. Maybe they didn't have time, so maybe some of these scenes got cut out of the movie. I'm not really sure. It's not really a complaint. It's more kind of just like I noticed it. I would have liked to have seen more from it. I didn't get more from it, but it's kind of like, whatever. Okay, movie fans, here's the breakdown. I'm giving the writing a 7 out of 10. I think the writing's pretty good overall. There's probably a couple things that I would have written differently, so it's not getting a perfect score. I'm giving the acting an 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed the acting. I don't think there was anything exceptional, but I still really enjoyed Kevin, Bryan, and Nicole. All 3 of them, I think, did a good job. I'm giving the cinematography a 6 out of 10. I don't think they made any mistakes necessarily. I just think that they played it safe. There were several opportunities in the movie where they could have really kind of changed things up with the cinematography. They could have made things a little more emotional. They could have made things a little more adventuristic. I think they played it safe a little too much, so they get a 6. I'm giving the directing a 6 out of 10, as I enjoyed the movie. I liked the movie. It's good. He did okay. I don't think he did anything wrong necessarily, but he is the director of Limitless, and I think he could have just put more into this film. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this review. I hope this helps you with your film watching endeavors. Please let me know your thoughts. Put them in the comments section down below. I'd love to open up a discussion, as I love talking about movies. My next reviews are replicas, and I will be having Kevin Kane with me. We will be talking about Mr. Glass and The Punisher 2, so check back soon for those guys, and I'll see you on the next one.